In Chicago, progressive policies are on full display where grocery stores in predominantly minority neighborhoods have been forced to close, leaving residents scrambling, and the city is blaming Trump's cuts to the SNAP program despite pumping $13 million worth of taxpayer money into them. It's unbelievable. Now these grocery stores, of course, are reaching out for a private investment. We'll get to that, but just don't take it from us. Take it from the Chicago residents who are dealing with it and impacted directly. Listen to this.
There's going to be an impact on the community and people close nearby that they won't be able to get the necessities and what they need at a convenience for them. I mean, it's going to affect the community for sure. Everybody going to have to travel out now and go to big grocery stores. And what about the people who don't got transportation that ain't able to make it to the big grocery stores?
That's a reasonable store in the neighborhood, you know? The rest of them around here is so expensive.
I hate that the people they talk to, they all look like me. The commonality here. The commonality to me is like the saucer of milk that you put outside for the kitten. And that kitten will just keep coming back because it wants that saucer of milk. Instead of questioning, why is it that I have to depend on free government food? Why do I have to depend on SNAP benefits and government cheese? What is your mayor that you guys always vote Democrat? The governor, you always vote Democrat. Why is it they are not helping the poor peoples like they say all the time in every election?
So Chicago's, the city of Chicago ended up funding this grocery store. It's called Save a Lot. And there was a lot of investment into it. And yet, in a very short period of time, they had to close. There's multiple reasons why this happened. One is if you go online and you look up this particular store, this chain, you'll see a lot of TikTok videos of people stealing. So there was also...
So you moved into the neighborhood. You took taxpayer dollars from obviously not the people who live in the neighborhood. You took taxpayer dollars from other people. You put almost $14 million into opening these cheap and free food stores. And even though it was cheap, you had people shoplifting and making TikTok videos about the stuff they stole. This isn't Trump's problem. This is not anything to do with the American taxpayers not giving you enough. There's a serious problem in the hood. And I don't know how Mandami thinks he's going to make it happen. All these stores just closed. They blew $14 million. A
lot of theft going on. And as you know, grocery stores operate on a very slim margin. And so you have a city that doesn't monitor or have a lot of repercussions for crime, and then it causes this to happen. The other part, though, and it's worth noting, is that there were changes to the SNAP program. And this particular grocery store, they said 30% of their sales depended on people using their SNAP and EBT. And those changes, they say, also impacted the bottom line for the store.
What bottom line? You're basically stealing from us. You were telling us my business model, maybe they were thinking like it's Section 8 for food, but it's different. You're telling me that you were taking taxpayer dollars and making these stores for free. And as you're making these stores for free, you couldn't, the consumption volume, how much these people eat, what they were eating, how much it costs, and now you took the SNAP benefits away and we can't make any money. Never mind the fact is, why did they take the SNAP benefits away? Well, fraud. How about the work requirement? How about getting off your ass and getting a job? Then you wouldn't have to worry about SNAP. Again, to me, it's the analogy of putting the saucer with milk out, and that kitten never knows that they need to go hunt. They need to go find some food.
But the bottom line, though, is, Charlie, this is not exactly a free market grocery store and it's not operating well. And if that's the future, I don't know.
And it's a sad reminder that governments are really terrible at running things. Should have access.
Governments are really terrible at running things. Why would that be? Well, if you've been watching anything with these people in New York, the reason why government's terrible at running things is because the people in charge never ran anything. AOC was a bartender. Now she's a leading candidate for president in the Democrat Party. She's never done anything. Mandami, never done anything. I'm sorry, a community organizer does not have any merit to it. The other socialists run around, 26, 27. What have you done? I went to college and then I went to some protests, so I should be in office. How the hell are you supposed to run a business if you've never even run a lemonade stand?
To a grocery store, just like everybody should have access to a doctor. And having a grocery store nearby really changes your entire life, your family's life.
Frustration from Governor Pritzker after a number of Save-A-Lot grocery stores are slated to close for good tonight unless a last-minute deal can be reached. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jackie Bang. Bryant McCrae is live with the latest. Bryant.
Yeah, good evening. Those closures taking place in areas called food deserts, primarily in low-income areas or far away from fresh food or supermarkets. Tonight, people in the community say they're not surprised by these closures. A parking lot on Chicago's south side slowly clears out as a grocery store called Save-A-Lot prepares to say goodbye. The closure coming at no surprise for Southside resident John Kali Emodaji.
It's the same old story, to be honest with you. And it's not just here, it's nationally when it comes down to black communities.
The Save-A-Lot.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I don't even like how they framed the story. I don't like how they just put that and use that cut because, yeah, it's the same story across the country in the black communities. Why? Why is it the same story across the country in the black communities? That's the problem. That's the disease. That's what we have to diagnose and fix, not give them, cheap and free stuff. I saw somebody in the comments say it's not free. Oh, you wait, you're going to see something. But why are we having to address anything but the actual dilemma? Why is it you need this? Why have you needed it for decades? Why can you not exist on your own 2 feet? Remember, I'm not talking about people who can't work. I'm not talking about people who have any sort of mental or physical infirmity, but obviously the people you've seen thus far, no, they don't have that. So what is it that you need to have SNAP and free or very cheap food? And then why is it always in the black community? What the hell is going on? Well, I know what's going on. If anybody has ever done any work or lived in the black community, you know too many people have been coddled and everything's given to you. Don't come at me. I'm the wrong person to come at. My father, he built his business in the hood. Everything we had to do in his construction and how we had to renovate the apartments year after year because of the people who lived in them. I've seen it firsthand. I've mentioned on this show many times, I can take you back to certain neighborhoods in Connecticut and there's still ghettos and some of the people's descendants are still living in them. Why? What is it? And now you got the whole Democrat Party catering to that. You don't got to do anything. We'll give you universal basic income and, we'll give you this and we'll give you that. And you don't need any ID. That way you can just keep getting it.
Shuttering its doors after the city backed the operator with $13.5 million in taxpayer financing.
$13,492,000 is what they spent on these grocery stores that completely failed. Oh, by the way, it was only within 2 years. It didn't take a long time for it to go down the drain. They burned through nearly $14 million quickly.
It was a part of a roughly $26 million deal to buy and rebuild 6 stores on the south and west side. The operator, an Ohio company called Yellow Banana, agreed to keep them open for 10 years. The stores didn't make it 2.
Give us $13 million. We'll keep these stores, as they are for 10 years. Oops, we couldn't make it 24 months. 24 months to blow through $13 million. How the hell does that happen? Why are they not pouring all over their books? Hey, how did you guys spend $14 million? Oh, I can tell you, because the grocery business runs on a 1% to 3% margin. Most of these people probably don't even know what a margin is. They think it's a store, the people are making money, we can steal, we can do whatever we want. You've heard them talk. What did that guy on Martha McCallum say? Nobody deserves a 10% or double-digit return. And so the grocery stores, they make their money on volume. It's only a 1% to 3% return. And I've never, I asked Robin today, Robin, has there ever been anywhere where we've lived where a grocery store has gone out of business? Nope. Why is it happening there? Well, one, because people who run Publix probably know how to do grocery stores.
A lot in the city, both pointing to cuts in federal food assistance.
I heard that the federal government had a little hand in this particular one. Save-A-Lot is unfortunately the first casualty.
Yeah, so immediately blame MAGA, blame the Republicans. How about look around at the people who come to the store and say, why don't you have a job? Why is it the Republicans? Why is it Washington is the bad guy? Because they need it to be the bad guy. That's how they keep them voting. There always is a monster under the bed. That's their problem. They have to have the monster under the bed. In this regard, it's Trump. It's Trump's administration. They made it so you can't get your donuts. You can't get your Dolly Madisons because of Trump. Anybody got a mirror? Anybody got a mirror you can hold up to these people and go, what are you doing? How are you trying to feed yourself? Are you working?
NBA event Saturday. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker touting the work he's done to keep grocery stores open.
I put an initiative in several years ago called the Illinois Grocery Initiative, and what it does is literally help people start grocery stores.
However, people who live in these...
How the hell are you going to start a grocery store? That's not just a business where you show up and go, you know what? I want to start a grocery store. So number one, I got to get a lease. Anybody know what a lease looks like? Should I go to some website, download one? All right, so now where do I get all the equipment? The refrigerators, the coolers, and all that stuff. What? Do you know how long it would take someone to learn how to run a grocery store? Maybe about 2 years.
Areas say they believe it's only a matter of time before another grocery store goes dark.
Hope is abstract. Action is key.
A spokesperson for Save-A-Lot says the stores saw a 26% decline in SNAP purchases. They also told me Yellow Banana is exploring options to keep these stores open, but if that doesn't happen, the stores will be closing this Saturday.
Yeah, and they closed. Your revenue decreased by 26% because your customers weren't really customers. Your customers were just people who had SNAP benefits and they couldn't do anything themselves. And so as the SNAP benefits went away, there goes your business. That means you didn't know how to run a grocery store. You just realized, hey, we get a whole bunch of money from the government. Every month these people get a refill on their EBT card, so we just keep going. But how did it happen so fast? If people lost their EBT money, sometime since Trump got in office, where'd the 13 million go? I mean, that means you were on thin ice before they cut those SNAP benefits. That means you were barely making it. And then when the SNAP benefits went, over the edge you went.
This will become a food desert. Finding grocery stores in this neighborhood is already as hard as it is.
Every day, you'll find these dental assistants shopping at Save-A-Lot near 79th and Halstead.
So the dental assistants, i.e. they have jobs, they're able to fend for themselves, but they're going to Save-A-Lot because they can save a lot.
their lunch break.
You have to think about those that are on fixed income, like the elderly people. It's affordable for them. It's close. It's accessible. So I really think it would be really detrimental to shut this store down within this community.
The store is in Alderman David Moore's ward.
What I hope happens next is that Yellow Banana finds another supplier that they can work with. That's what I'm hoping.
The city.
Another supplier that they can work with is going to want cash. And they're fresh out of $13 million. Hey, yeah, I'll supply you with the, groceries. I'll get you some beef and some potatoes. Pay me. They're not going to give it to them for free. They're not going to donate it to them. So how are they going to get the money if they've already blown through $13 million?
Tells us Yellow Banana, Save-A-Lot, the city, and other financial partners are discussing opportunities to keep the stores open with potential investors or new suppliers.
You imagine reading that investment plan and somebody hands it to you and says, yeah, we need some investment money because we've blown through 13 million in 24 months and our business was dependent upon EBT cards. We don't have that anymore. And we'd like you to put some money into us. Number one, how are you going to generate revenue? Number two, what's my return? I'm not doing it out of the goodness of my heart. Oh, that's right. You don't believe anybody should ever have a double-digit return, as the little socialist said on television. So what investor is going to do that? Maybe the cartel.
There were ribbon cuttings and grand reopenings after the city gave Yellow Banana $13.5 million to help refurbish 6 of the 7 stores, which are supposed to stay open through 2035. If they close, they must reopen as grocery stores within a year. The city's also looking at ways to recoup taxpayer funding if necessary.
I'm going to continue to do my part to make these necessary investments. The hope is that, our corporate leaders can come together to find a way. Again, the federal cuts have had profound impact on our local grocery stores.
Know the struggle.
It's sad when the mayor of these big blue cities, the Mandamis, Brandon Johnsons, the mayors of these cities are telling you they're like Somalia. Our city cannot stand on its own. Our city cannot be sovereign. Our city only exists based upon the kindness of others. Remember the movie? Blanche Dubois, I think her name was. Streetcar Named Desire. So you're telling everybody we can't function. The Chicago Bears waved goodbye to you. But somehow these people keep getting elected over and over and over when it's failure after failure after failure.
Well, I was there. I saw it. So it's like, man, another blow to the community and ain't nothing we can do about it.
All right. Listen to this very closely. I want you to really dig in here, turn up your volume, and listen to this.
We have nothing. So I don't know what we're going to do. There's nothing around here. No stores. This is basically the only store you can come to. That you get fresh produce and get groceries for little or nothing.
Say what?
That you get fresh produce and get groceries for little or nothing.
There you have it. You get groceries for a little bit or nothing. That's not a business model I want to get into. That's not a business model any investor wants to get into. So what'd you just say? So you have been getting free food from this place. So there's something, I bet you that how many even people in the chat are like, Barry, it's not free. Oh, it's free for some people. It's a place we can go where we can get a little bit or it's free. That needs to be investigated from a complete societal breakdown position, a perspective of, wait a second, you're telling me the people in this community cannot eat unless you give them free food. And yet you keep voting for these same scumbags.